let's get into it. Let's get this party started. Of course, as I was getting off stream yesterday, I guess Pearl had talked to our buddy Piers Morgan. The title of the video is called "The Female Andrew Tate, Pearl Davis on Why She Thinks Women Shouldn't Vote." Now, I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of feeling like Pearl has entered her lol cow phase. You know. Hey, maybe I have too. I don't know. But I mean, what are you doing? Like your entire thing is to just go on and be as provocative as possible for things that you obviously don't believe. You don't believe that you shouldn't vote. What's the point anymore? Like what's the it's not even like there's no hot take. There's nothing underlying about it. It's that women shouldn't be able to vote because they don't sign up for the draft. So then make them sign up for the draft. Who cares? Or don't. Nobody gets drafted anymore. Who cares? But whatever. Let's get it going.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. So Pearl Davis is
I don't even know what he said. That was the most XQC entrance I've ever heard anyone ever give.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Whoa, what?
Pearl Davis.
I don't even have it at angry speed. I guess I'm just, maybe it's like me when I'm tired.
This has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views on modern feminism.
You know, I remember, listen, I don't know if you guys knew this. I do occasionally enjoy a Destiny video. You know, he's a smart guy. And I came across something. Oh, she changed her name to just Pearl? Why? What? Wow. Incredible. I'm not, okay. I mean... This is like the picture someone, like a girl's boyfriend would choose, because like the favorite picture, you know? Because guys, for some reason, choose the worst pictures of girls, of their girl. Like, my favorite picture of my wife is literally this silly picture with, like, that's my favorite picture of her, you know? That's... like, this is, why, okay, listen, I'm not trying to be mean. This is, I just would have chosen this as your, whatever. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I know I look ugly as fuck, but oh man, that just floored me a little bit. Sorry, just give me a moment. Jesus. Okay, sorry. This isn't planned or anything. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I watched it, and I was watching like a Destiny clip. I think it was on TikTok that comes up, and Destiny was just talking about how like Pearl's most of her success, like her follower base is very inflated. You know, he's like, if you look at her video, she doesn't get a whole lot of views for video, which by the way, they're good views overall. I'm not trying to be an asshole. But a lot of it's from shorts, just like very provocative shorts content that pulls in millions and millions of views. But people don't necessarily stick around for Pearl, you know, like, you know, once she's opened the door and got you introduced, people don't necessarily stick around, you know. And still, hey, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting point. Thank you so much for the small gut, Mr. Sign. Appreciate the sub, brother.
The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate.
Whoa.
So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote.
You don't actually think that.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of...
I don't know. I think your most extreme opinion might be that black people are like faking it or something. Like slavery, it wasn't that bad. That's your most extreme opinion. My most extreme opinion is I don't think women should vote. Let's not talk about the slavery stuff, though. Guys, people thought the slaves... I don't even want to go in. It's insane. It's not your most hot take. It's not your hottest take. But okay.
Women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD.
Okay.
Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people.
I don't even know if any of this is true. Who cares? What STD? Like HPV? Like everybody has a HPV.
5% of women are not virgins on their wedding
days.
So
Not that.
The complaint.
Not that, them not being virgin. Oh, no. That's so devastating. I really wanted to marry somebody that was really bad in bed, though. Golly gosh, Gene Willikers.
Okay, well, Paul joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Paul, you've been called the female Andrew Tate.
I think it's more that she's just a lol cow.
How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment.
Well, I wish she would have sex trafficked me too. Like, what is it? What are you gonna say, Pearl? Come on.
You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
Yikes.
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young men.
Okay.
Yeah, just sex traffic women.
Hey, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed.
Yeah.
I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive.
Right.
Why
she doesn't believe
would
that.
you
It's
want to
just
remove
a
just
hot
from
take.
yourself the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I
they don't sign up for the draft.
had the same view, right?
Right? I had the
back
same
when
view.
I started, I was like, why?
Why?
I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote.
Oh my God. That's why all women today are like, I really don't want to vote anymore. No, Pearl. Okay. No, women don't want to give up. Like back in the day, the percentage of women that may or may not have wanted to vote back in the day is irrelevant. My understanding is only 5% of them. Who cares? Go poll women now and say, do you want to lose your... They'll be like, no. Right? Women should have the right to vote so they can have an equal say in our society.
And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not... No, it's true. It's true.
At,
You
the
look it up.
at the time.
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean...
Yeah, based fucking Piers Morgan. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. I'm actually surprised.
That's what they say, but, you know, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason...
But I read their writings. What I found out is that slavery was embellished, guys. That's what I read somewhere. I read that somewhere. I think Thomas Sowell said that, except I'm misquoting him. And he actually was criticizing a book that didn't bring up the fact that there were some black slave owners. And I conflated that to black people would just complain too much.
A lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that going to do?
The computers, amazing technology. It's like worker labor laws, minimum wages that never existed before, an 8-hour work day. Getting rid of, like, or heavily restricting child labor, because I believe that children can work as long as there's solid laws in place to protect them, right? Like, children probably shouldn't be climbing into machines, but they're small enough to fit. Not me. I was a big kid. What happened 100 years later? Everybody's yelling on the internet because the internet is available and gives everything, blasts everything into our faces.
Do with them having the vote?
I can't find
5%
of women wanted to, only 5% wanted to vote.
Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run.
Well, yeah, that's because men historically have excluded women. And when it comes to the military, let's absolutely talk about, like, combat roles. You know, I can see why maybe only men could be super effective in combat. I get it. Men have a better reaction time generally. They're a bit stronger. I get it. The military is more than combat roles. Okay, so, you know, and, like, here's the thing. I'm not in the military. So if the military is like, you know what, there are some, I mean, listen, there are some amazing both men and women who work in the military, fight for our country. Who the fuck am I to tell that woman who's putting potentially their life on the line, or even supporting the incredible American military infrastructure, which is completely unflawed, by the way. But who am I to tell that person that they shouldn't be in the military? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck am I, right? Women should be able to be in the military, and then the military can figure out where things can be placed. That being said, I think that maybe it's something to consider. One of the reasons why women may not want to join the military, it could be similar to the reason why women may not advocate for women having to sign up for the draft. It's because a lot of women get raped in the military. It's a fact. There is a big problem of sexual assault in the military. And so maybe that's why women don't... One of the reasons women may not feel comfortable in there. I mean, have we ever thought about that? There's a huge problem of suppression of sexual assault in the military of women. And, like, if I was a woman, I'd be afraid to join, too. I'm already afraid to join because I'm a man. So, because I'm morbidly obese. Of course, thank God I've made it to 33. I can't join now. I'm too one health. Oh, I have a disability. What is it? I eat too much. So yeah.
So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50%.
Me too. I agree. Men start having babies. They did. Trans men exist. We did it. Everybody's equal now. Men and women both have different general, or in some ways can have different roles. For the most part, men and women can do the same jobs. Then there's some jobs that maybe men can't do that women can't do, and women can do that men can't do, and that's it. Like, okay, women should be able to vote. They're part of society. Oh, they're not as strong as men. Okay, women provide babies. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, literally provide birth. I mean, that has to be worth something, right? You came out of a woman's vagina. All right? What is, like, why is that not a factor? Why is that not valued, like, at least equally to the male contribution? Yeah, you know, men build the infrastructure. Yeah, you know, women built the men. Oh, okay. And maybe that's equal. I think that it's fair to say it's equal. Some could argue that that contribution might be a little higher. Me personally, I don't think we need to bicker about it. Just like there's two contributions generally. Like we should just think about. I personally think about it like that because it makes a lot of sense to me. You know, when I think about restricting women's rights, I remember I came out of a woman. So
of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S.,
okay,
they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service.
No, you're not. Like you could be, but they don't enforce that. So
which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have two votes.
Why? What if the son's 19? And the dad, then the family still has two votes. What are you talking? Who cares?
Ava, your mouth seems.
Why? Like for what reason? Push her on that. Why?
To have dropped about.
No, do you know what it's sort of like?
I know.
It's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean, at
allegedly.
The time, well,
what do you mean?
Well, you haven't even stopped. You've just talked for like, well, in her defense, about a minute and a half. I haven't shut the fuck up from the start of the segment. But let her talk.
Allegedly.
At the time that you're talking about, you know, women weren't really allowed.
Men created the rules they complain about. Yeah, true. Rich men did it. It's not all men. Brittany. It's not all men. That is true, though. It's mostly like very affluent men who've created the rules for the rest of us to go fuck ourselves with.
That's right. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Shh, relax, Pearl. Shut the fuck up.
That's incorrect. The first female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that would be inherited.
No,
women really weren't able to work, same as men, for a very long time. What are you talking about?
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s. And
who cares? That's like the exception that proves the rule, or whatever. Like, what do you mean? Like, hey, there was 800,000. She was the only one of the women that was a millionaire. What we call it, survivor's bias. You just take the one that's like, look at the one woman who was successful. That must be everybody else.
Was that inherited?
No, it wasn't. It was self-made. Yes, it was.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was.
She never inherited land.
Yes, she did not inherit it.
What law permitted that? What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in history.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, you know, a part of your message, I've researched you today, and hang on a minute.
Okay.
You know, your big push is that you care about men, and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
I care about women too.
I haven't made
yeah, could you just care about shutting the fuck up?
Point yet, because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote, how is that helping young men? Because these young...
True, actually true. It doesn't help young men at all. It's just a way to say shit on women and to call it male advocacy.
Men have women in their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters,
True.
They have teachers. And they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men do all of the feminists. Well, then, okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society.
You do them? Go up. This whole thing just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we're looking at general trends, and well, because women don't do oil rigs, and like, why? Who cares? You make a lot of money if you want to do that job. You don't do it. I don't do it. Every single man that's like, yeah, men do oil rigs while they work at like fucking McDonald's. Like, you're not doing it either. Shut the fuck up. Everybody should have an equal say with an equal vote in our society. Some men are going to gravitate towards some areas. Some women are going to gravitate towards others, right? Should I go around forcing men to go become fucking like teachers and healthcare workers and fucking childcare workers to make it equal? No, of course not. Like, no, it's just stupid. That's just not how our society works. It's just a silly goosery. It's just fucking dumb. Oh my God.
They're open, they're hiring, because I don't equate for, I don't think men or women are equal until
what was that?
We do the equal work. So no.
And so then we're not equal until men can have fucking babies. Some women, men, right. I guess some men can, but until all men can have babies, they shouldn't have an equal say in anything. Okay.
Listen. Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights.
Go have a baby as a man. Like, this is just dumb bickering.
But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, but I don't think that I'm.
What's like the general responsibility that a woman doesn't have that a man does? I mean, generally speaking, women probably have it harder. Like, men have a much easier time walking away from their own child than women do, and they end up being like fucking single mothers, raising their kids. So what are you talking about? Like, listen, I'm a guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, it feels like it's harder to be a fucking woman than a guy. There's definitely hard like struggles of being a man, 1000%. But I mean, holy shit, I don't want to be a woman. You have to literally devastate your body to push a child out of you. That's crazy. Women's bladders fall out of their body. They prolapse out of their fucking body. They got to put staples in there to keep it in there as you get old. Fuck that. Fuck that. Plus, soon oil rig jobs will be taken over by robots anyway. Fuck that shit, dude. What the fuck? You ever thought about that? Like, get the hell out of here. The profound sacrifice a woman has to make just to birth a child. No. They deserve the vote for that alone. Fuck that. I'm not destroying like, imagine having to push like a fucking peach pit out of your penis hole. That would be insane. That's fucking crazy. No way, dude. For that, you guys get to vote. I'm not fucking with that shit. No way, Jose. Get the fuck out of here.
Basically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
No,
but you said you were volleyball.
Wow.
What was that?
Physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not. But I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
She threw a dig calling Pearl fucking man. I'm sorry.
But you said you were a volleyball.
Wow.
It was funny.
You said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think.
But
that
I don't have more strength. I don't have more strength than the average man. I'm not going to take your right away to do it. I don't have more strength than the average man.
Okay,
but again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be equal.
Every man has to go be a plumber now.
You also, but you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Because I want women to get the fuck beat out of them. That's the only reason.
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Okay,
so I like marriage is very cool. I like marriage. I enjoy being married, and I believe in it. But the reality is that like you have to, some people are going to choose the wrong partner sometimes. There's going to be economic stressors, which if you really want to keep families together, focus on that. That's the biggest reason families are splitting up and there's so much anger and abusive shit going on. People are much more likely to be angry and abusive when they don't have money. It's just a fact. I don't know what to tell you. Same thing with like during COVID, people were home beating the fuck out of each other. It's unfortunate shit. Advocate for that. But like you're talking about a slave relationship. You have to be with this person regardless. Of course you're not going to come out against an abuser if they're beating the fuck out of you because you have to be with them now and they're forced to. It's what she's saying is stupid. It doesn't make for a good raising of a life with the parents. It doesn't make for a good healthy dynamic. It's stupid. She's an idiot.
That's what marriage is supposed to be. But
get married.
Feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
Why? They could just get married and stay together. What do you mean? It doesn't hurt anybody.
When there's a 50% divorce rate and the average marriage
Why is that all down to the women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
Why?
You are insinuating it.
You asked why I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish that first?
You haven't shut the fuck up when the other girls talking.
So I'm saying, you know, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for
you should do that too.
People that actually believe in, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
Kind of based.
And what do you mean?
Well, you spoke.
What do you mean? Your viral clip talking about how women should be fucking virgins in a marriage and not have any body count before marriage, you'd be completely excluded as well.
Spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want,
which by the way I doubt. I think she is a virgin.
To preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live.
Look at Pierce's fucking face, dude. This is priceless. I love this face. This is perfect. I'm stealing it. I'm taking it. It's going in the thumbnail right now.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was, but we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, but I just
go become a born again Christian. Go become deeply religious. That face that he's making is fucking wild, bro. Holy moly! Look at this thing. Get out of here! Alert! Look at this guy. This is crazy.
I don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think.
Hang on.
True.
Hang on. Okay, if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely. And
so she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but
well, yes, but she's also entitled to get pushback on her views. What are you talking about? This is just a non-point. Well, can't everybody have an opinion? Yeah, yes, but we can contest. You brought us on here to contest the opinion, Piers. Yeah, but like I gotta meat right a little bit. I gotta glaze pearl a little bit. I gotta virtue signal to my audience about freedom of speech and try to catch you in some kind of like a feminism hypocrisy, even though that didn't exist. She's just getting called out on her own hypocrisy. Yeah, but Pearl says a dumb thing. The girl goes, "Hey, like that was dumb. You realize that?" And then Pierce is like, "Yeah, but can't she have an opinion? Isn't she allowed to have an opinion?" Yes. Yes, you're facilitating the conversation of these opinions on your show, Piers. What the fuck are you talking about? But isn't feminism about having your opinions? No, you got me. You got me. You got me. You got me, Piers. You got me. Ooh. Okay.
You
might not like them,
but I'm here to challenge.
Isn't she exercising her right as a? Are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, I wouldn't. Don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality, but you guys don't, I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering
I would actually love to see Ava Santana on an oil rig.
Seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists.
There's an oil rig being built next to your building? That's fucking crazy. Oh, she means build the building. Gotcha. Incredible.
Go do it. And me, I'm saying
the same job that I'm doing right now.
You find
look at her fucking dumb face when she's. Oh, we gotta get
it. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me, I'm
doing the same job that I'm doing.
There's the face. That's the face. There it is. Maybe that'll be part of the thumbnail as well. How do we like that?
When you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
Yes, for
even if he beats the shit out of you?
Vows that we're supposed to live
How
by.
do you know you can keep them?
I mean, I think it's a choice. And that's the thing.
And I think it's so petty for people to get divorced over chores.
Like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not.
Yes. No, not that.
Not about happiness.
It is about hot take.
The most important thing is the children.
Yeah. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're unhappy and you're in a miserable marriage raising a kid, the kid's going to pick up on that energy and they're also going to emulate that and they're going to have a miserable marriage as well. And the cycle will continue. That's the reality. Kids pick up on their parents' shit. They're going to think it's healthy when their parents barely talk to each other or sleep apart every single day. Instead, what they should do is like, hey, we're going to get divorced, but we're going to be, nice to each other afterwards. And we're going to raise our kids together. Maybe you even stay in the same house. then you're teaching the kid like, oh, we just fell out of love, but we still love you, and we want to raise, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's a little harder, but like that's good. I'm not saying people should get divorced. I'm just saying that, like, if you're in a miserable scenario where you're going to have a negative impact on the growth of your kid because of how miserable you are, you should get divorced amicably and raise your kid together. That's it. I know it's harder than it sounds, but...
And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it. It's
not feelings.
Instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava.
What's so funny is, like, that's one of the biggest men's issues is that men's feelings aren't, like, taken care of very well. It's like, oh, people just care about feelings. Like, yeah, we should. We should care about men's feelings. The two. I mean, with the unalive rate's rather high. You know, what about that?
I've got to say, it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff.
But I'm kind of okay with the sex trafficking. I'm just kidding.
When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I
yeah.
mean...
Well, older generation, they'll be dead soon, and then the point won't matter anymore. It's kind of true. You know, there's a lot of women who do agree that they should be slaves in a marriage. Yeah, you know, those people will fortunately pass away, and then, like, we'll have a new generation. Not maliciously, of course, just old age. God has a plan. I love how it says here, in a moment, ending veteran homelessness. Like, yeah, a male issue. Imagine we cared more about the feelings of our veterans and we took care of their mental health issues coming out and we provided them access to, you know, mental health services and housing. That's kind of a men's issue. In a moment, talking about a real men's issue. But let's do a 10-minute segment that's pretending to care about men, but actually just shits on women. Like, that's what Pearl is. This is a real men's issue segment, ending homeless veterans. With what? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a real issue. Instead, we're virtue signaling about how women shouldn't be able to vote because they don't contribute enough by pushing babies out of their pussies.
I mean, I believe in agency, so I think that if a woman is going to look after her children in divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand...
I'd like to say...
I'd like to keep talking. Wow, this woman talks more than Papa Gut, am I right?
Before the 1920s,
Do you know what I mean?
women could speak openly. This idea that, like...
No, they couldn't.
Women couldn't talk. The last 500 years, there have been...
Women didn't have the same rights and were in, like, marriages that they could get abused in, and it was okay, and the church would suppress it, and nobody cared. Hitting your wife used to be perfectly fine if she got out of line. So, like, yes, women were not going to speak their minds.
Women throughout
history, the American state education system has failed before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history that have read, written, and been very influential in society.
Wow, that is true. Okay.
The idea like women could never do it.
Do you know what I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down...
Do you know what the most influential women are? The feminists who gave them the right to vote and get divorced without, and, you know, protected from laws that beat them.
Kind of few arguments that I think are perfectly, like, you know, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have abortions, you say that they have...
Are they fat?
You mean you just got offended before because she called you mannish? I don't know what you're talking about.
You know,
it's not that. Look at that. She's looking right at the camera. This is another good screenshot, right, guys? Some women are fat, but why don't you call it the fat man? Oh, because I hate women. That's not a call out. Like, yeah, people are overweight. Like, it's not good to be overweight. I'm overweight as well. But she doesn't just do that. She does it to get a rise out of people. She's like, fat women don't deserve love. She's looking to get attention. She's an attention seeker. That's all it is.
The question is, are they fat? Yes or no? The average American woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be
okay. Who cares? I don't know.
Honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity.
No, we don't. We don't. This is just like anti-woke nonsense garbage. On TikTok, there are like annoying body positivity people, but for the most part, we don't really celebrate it. Not in this like profound way. Now when, like, every single day, Lizzo's getting, like, relentlessly bullied on social media to the point where she doesn't want to fucking make content anymore. We really don't celebrate it. All right? And it comes from, like, nobody, and none of them care. Like, you don't care that fat people exist. You're not like, hey, we need to solve this problem. Like, what is it? Is it like is it because people don't have as much money anymore? Is it because of addictive fast foods, addictive sugars? Is it because of like systemic issues that may make it unavailable for people to get food? Is it because people are working really long hours and don't have enough time to cook? No, I think it's because some fat people are like, hey, stop bullying us, and they made a movement around. That's got to be why people are fat. It's that. It has nothing to do with any of the other thing. Is it because we don't like teach kids to cooking in school, both men and women? Is it because like what is? Oh no, it's the fucking fat people movement. Like that's what it is. It's not a real movement. They don't move, okay? Let's talk more about solving the systemic problems around it. Teach kids in school proper fitness as well. Like do a walking class. Make kids walk every day a half an hour. Like just start there. If you really care, you would advocate from that perspective instead of advocating against like who cares about annoying body positivity people. Like obnoxious pieces of shit. Like seriously, if you really cared. But it's never about that. It's always just like dunking on like, oh my God, you know? I'm sure that some of it goes too far, for sure, but most fat people are just like, please stop harassing me about my weight. I'll deal with it myself. Like you know, or try to, right? You know, how about educate doctors better, you know, about it? Because, like, most doctors aren't very good at nutrition. Like, so, like, let's, I don't know, have an education there, you know? There's a lot of different things there. Let's talk about, like, the mental health aspect, how people will copy, the same ways that people drink and smoke, to like unhealthy aspects, and we make fun of fat people more than people who are like have alcoholism or are dying of lung cancer, because like it focuses more on looking disgusting than it actually focuses on trying to solve people's problems. So, and someone's like, well, gyms exist. Okay, so like how come there's no like we have a weird diet culture that has no idea how to properly exercise? Like, you have diet cultures that push out these routines that are like, just do 4 sets of 8 to 12 on your bench press. That's not a routine. That's not a comprehensive routine that talks about progressive overload, doesn't talk about what to do to break through plateaus. There's no deloading protocols. Like, our education on fitness is dog shit, and a lot of it comes from, like, what? The Biggest Loser, where people are encouraged to lose 10 pounds in a week, which is, like, incredibly unhealthy for you. Like, what? That? How is that helpful? Well, you know, tabloid magazines for fitness exist. How is that helpful? What about schools? Why aren't we teaching this in school? For that matter, why aren't we teaching like taxes in schools as well? It's just like a real issue. There's better places to focus. Yes, Wendler531 is a good routine. Shut up. $10 ebook. Buy them. Buy it all. Buy all of them. They're good.
As some kind of body positive thing. And it is complete nonsense. So actually on that point again, there's a bit of truth in
that. And this is the problem. This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive? Well,
I mean, like, gym in school makes you do 30 minutes of exercise, not public gyms. No, listen, not for nothing. Gyms in school don't really make you do much. They make you play like a sport that a lot of people don't want to do. People will find ways to skip out of it and sit down. I don't think it's as, and like, what, it's not as good. Like, let's do more walking classes, honestly, because like, what are you gonna do? Most people are gonna leave school. Are they gonna be playing fucking basketball every day? No. It's good to do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like, drive that like, hey, okay guys, we're gonna go for a walk, and then while we're walking, we're gonna talk about fucking counting your macros or something. So, I don't know, something like that.
Like,
it's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid.
Like, even like MyFitnessPal drastically underplays how many calories you need to maintain to make it seem like you have to eat a lot less than you actually do. And then people end up crash dieting and not being able to succeed on it. There's tons of shit. There's tons of shit. We have a whole movement that's like trying to make it seem like it's healthy to have like the non-meat burgers, the highly processed impossible. It's so healthy because it's not real meat. Meanwhile, there's tons of processed bullshit in there that's just going to make you fat anyway. Like, it's not like that's our general understanding of education. Yeah, it doesn't have meat in it. It's impossible. That's good for you. No, it's not. That's not good. So,
Baby. So I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee. I mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true. Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
Okay, I'm going to have to objectively...
And she insulted me first. They always do.
I'm going to have to objectively...
No, Papa Got Sports teach you stuff like coordination, team building, the action improve your life a lot. Sure, no, I'm not saying you shouldn't do sports. What I'm saying is that a lot of people don't want to do them and aren't going to do them anyway. And I think it would be a decent idea to offer some kind of a class that focused on getting people and stressing the point of exercising every day, like walking for a half hour, and getting them to engage in the habit of building that. Like a walking for just half an hour a day is profoundly positive, and it's much more likely you'll continue that behavior after you get out of school than pushing a sport. I'm not saying don't do sports. Sports are great, but for people who don't want to do them, don't have an interest, do a walking class where you walk like, I don't know, a mile a fucking day, or for like a set amount of time per day, and then while they're doing that, have the teacher educate kids on shit while it's happening, like how to properly, like proper nutrition, proper protocols for getting healthier. Like I think that's a much more realistic way to get people and get kids to engage in the habit of doing more moving around. Because that soccer, most kids aren't going to play soccer or a sport after they get out of school. They're doing it as a burden to get through it, and then they're just done with it. So like, if you really want to pound it into people's heads, offer a class that's different. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that sports don't help. It's a great idea for people who want to do it, but I'm talking more about for like some of the kids who don't want to engage in it, right? So that's what I'm saying. No, don't make kids run a mile every day. I'm too fat.
End the debate, but it was an interesting.
Also, isn't gym every other day too? I'm pretty sure gym isn't even every day, right?
Conversation. I think we should get you two back together as a matter of urgency. Thank you.
Hold on, I gotta get that.
But it was an interesting conversation. I think we should get you two back together as a matter of urgency. Thank you very much, Pearl. Thank you, Ava.
Cool.